thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is here. My first question for him tonight: did the Parliamentary Registration Department notify parties before they attempted to remove the ballot boxes yesterday? Tonight, Minnis is here to talk about his independent run and why Killarney needs to stay with Doc. Also tonight, the FNM is at the Old Carnival grounds in an SOS rally, and the PLP rallying in South Eleuthera last night. And it's temperature check. Tonight, St. Anne's. Who's on track to win next week? This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. So let's get started. Tonight, the man who once led the country now faces perhaps his most personal political battle yet, testing whether loyalty to a constituency can outweigh loyalty to a party. And in a race already filled with tension, Minnis says he didn't leave the FNM abandoned him. But he's determined to provide the kind of leadership he's been delivering for Killarney, even as an independent. Dr. Minnis, good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's great to have you here. Thank you for being here this evening.
Good evening, and good evening, Shanique. I'm very happy and delighted to be here this evening.
You look quite relaxed. How you feel this is Wednesday, so less than a week. How many? 5 days out from the big dance.
I am relaxed. When an individual can still get up at 4:30 every morning and exercise at 5 o'clock, then enjoy themselves with nice coffee at Starbucks with friends, and leave there at 7:30
winning,
and then go to the gym and complete their exercise routine, that is healthy and that is fun.
That is intentional. I love that.
That is no stress.
I love that, Doc. You winning. You absolutely winning. In fact, I said that you and your wife are the fittest couple in this 2026 election cycle. I think that you all hold that title. I stand by that. But listen, let's start with this first, Doc. I know you're here to talk about Killarney, but please grant me this opportunity to just talk about this for a moment. A lot is going on, even now this evening, about the integrity of the election next week. The tampering of ballot boxes is being claimed. And then, of course, yesterday's protests at the police headquarters and the Parliamentary Registration Department. If I can quickly hear from you, what happened yesterday? Did the PRD notify in advance political organizations and independent candidates like yourself about their intentions to move the ballot boxes earmarked for the Family Islands? This is, of course, in order to prepare them to be shipped to the Family Islands. Were parties notified?
Before I answer the question, let me state categorically that we have always had fair and very, I would say, fair elections and free. This is election time, and therefore you will have individuals. The opposition has a responsibility. The opposition's responsibility is to ensure that the electoral process is fair and transparent. That's their job. But to answer your questions, yes, everybody were informed of the procedure and were informed what was to be done.
You're trying to say y'all weren't caught off guard, Dr. Minnis?
I am only saying that everybody were informed as is always done.
So this is the norm. This ain't nothing that just happened.
I think this is just politics. Individuals just being mischievous. And I would only hope that through all of this mischievousness, it does not spill over into violence or that type of thing. But it is politics, and you expect these things. But the opposition has a responsibility to ensure that the elections and the entire process is transparent, fair, and following the law.
Well, would
That's
you
their
say,
responsibility.
so then would you say yesterday's, and I'm not going to dwell here because I know you came here to talk about you ain't come here to talk opposition politics, but would you say yesterday's protests were warranted then?
I think yesterday individuals were playing politics. We are now in the political season, and you would do many things for extra political mileage, and that's all I would say.
That's what that is. One last question about this, and then we totally move on to Killarney and your run. What are and by the way, I spoke with Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson about 30 minutes ago. I asked him these very questions, but I want to hear from you. See, because he could always tell me whatever it is he wants to tell me. I want to hear from you. Former Prime Minister, sitting member of Parliament, going for re-election for the sixth time now. Someone whose word we trust and trusted before and hold great weight. Have the ballot boxes been tampered with?
That is always accusations. That is always accusations from time immemorial. But ballot boxes are not tampered with. Ballot boxes are well protected. However they're moved, it's agreed upon by the political parties. They still may, even after agreeing to certain procedures, you may find one or two making noise that, oh, they did not agree to this, they did not agree. But the whole process is very, very transparent and discussed and agreed upon by all political organizations before things are done.
So everybody has a say-so, and it's signed off on. And
yes, everybody would have their say. And but this is politics, and everybody would complain that they still have a problem. There used to be 3 observers. You're giving me 2. No, I want 3. You know.
Wow, I tell you. Meanwhile, have the Bahamian people for conk, as they say, with this up and down and emotional turmoil, because that's truly what it is.
Well, I would only hope that Bahamians understand that this is politics, and the politicians don't push them to the extent where individuals
get themselves in problems.
That's right, and
because
become violent.
After all, they incite their followers.
Absolutely.
And sit on and watch while they get in problems. But anyway, Dr. Minnis, let's shift to Killarney. You are seeking, sir, re-election for the 6th time. With the people of Killarney. Your track record and footprint is tangible throughout Killarney. What is it that you have done in these last 6 terms, 5 terms of serving now, seeking a 6th, that you are most proud of?
Well, I'm most proud of the residents of Killarney. They keep me abreast as to what are current, what are their concerns, and we address them as a community, not in isolation. Killarney is a very large constituency, and we were successful in establishing various different homeowners association, various different communities, because the community's concerns are different. Gambia's concerns are different from, let's say, West Ridge, and therefore we were successful. We know what the challenges are in every community, and we address those communities. What we want to do as we move forward, yes, there are at least about 12 different communities or associations. We encourage them to meet every month, and I or a representative from my executive would come down and meet with the various associations monthly. Then at our general meeting, we encourage a representative from each community to come to the general meeting so that they can now report back to their community as to what the association or Killarney is doing. And that works very well. What I'm very proud of, our CCTV program that is ongoing.
This is outside of your ring door program?
That is outside of that. And I'm ecstatic and very moved with the new program we're launching. We'll be launching soon the Killarney app. So, you know, We don't have local government in New Providence, and therefore we're introducing an app which would be a Killarney Community Digital Local Government, meaning that every resident of the Killarney community would be asked to download the app on their phone, and therefore they essentially would be our eyes on the street.
Right.
So if they see a pothole, then they just have to press the locator, and that goes to the relevant authority. If a street light is off, the same thing happens. If there's flooding, the same thing happens. So what happens is with this digital communication network, the app, we basically would know exactly what's happening within the Killarney constituency, and we can get on it right away. So it's a digital local government app.
Dr. Minnis, you've done a lot. No one can deny that. No one, I don't care where they fall politically, but are you prepared to now independently, as an independent candidate, and if you were to be successful at the polls next week, an independent member of parliament, are you prepared to go it alone and deliver the level of representation that Killarney has come to expect from you?
I won't be alone. Remember, I'm an independent candidate, but I was put there by the community, by the residents of Killarney. So when I speak for them. I speak with the information that they have given me. So no, I'm not alone. I'm their mouthpiece. I'm their representative. But the public is listening to the 6,000 residents of Killarney. So no, I'm not alone. And the beauty about it is I am their voice. I'm the voice of the people. I'm not dictated to nor held by any party philosophy or party's belief. If a party is putting form a certain view, legislation or principle, the members of parliament of that party may not necessarily agree, but they have to agree. As an independent, I represent the people. Once the people don't agree, we're not bound by any party's dictum. I can speak very freely. Example, if the party, and this won't happen, but let's say if the party wanted to introduce some new form of taxation, the residents of various constituencies may disagree, but the members of parliament of that party has to agree even though their constituency disagreed. I, on the other hand, once my constituency disagreed, then I am not held or bound by any party. I can speak freely, and I have the same privileges as any member of parliament. I can introduce legislation like any member of parliament.
You can?
Yes, I can introduce legislation. I can also request committee to investigate members of the parliament or members of community if things are going viral or going left. So it's a very, very powerful position, but what I like most of all is I'm not tied to any party. I'm tied to the people. I am the voice of the people.
In 2026 and moving forward, what does an independent candidate now represent, and by extension, member of parliament, now look like and represent in the Bahamas, you would say?
I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand the powers of an independent candidate. You can imagine a candidate in there. First of all, a party has bosses. A candidate, an independent candidate, the bosses of that independent candidate are the members of that constituency. That's a very powerful position. And what happens, it helps to bring together community and helps bring, it forces communication, because that independent member must have regular meetings with his association, with his community to get their views. Within Killarney, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have other professionals. So all of them would be involved in the decision making in establishing what my arguments would be when I go to Parliament. And we have the big issue today. Corruption is a big issue. Corruption is a serious issue, and that has to be tackled. But the party may limit its members on speaking about it, but as an independent member, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop
You're free
you.
to
Can speak freely.
as you wish.
You can speak freely. The immigration, that's another issue. The party.
Is that when you said corruption, are you referring to immigration?
No, I'm talking about corruption
As a whole.
throughout in various different agencies. We have to be serious about dealing with corruption. We have to be very serious. I have pointed out in Parliament on numerous occasions that we lose about $1.3 billion per year on corruption. That's what we know about, $1.3 billion. Can you imagine if we can source 500 million of that, what that can do to the country? That teachers can get a raise, doctors can get a raise, we may not have to raise taxes, we don't have to do this, we don't. So what happened is corruption really increases poverty and increases income inequality. So when you talk about poverty, here you have one source that you can deal with to stop both income inequality and poverty. So why are we so resistant? Why are we so resistant?
Well, you know, you and I have discussed it, and you've mentioned it before on our national stage about corruption. The fact that it's us. It's us. We point fingers at various civil servants, but we all are somehow to blame, even with the immigration matters that have come up recently. The fact that so many Bahamians find themselves culpable and tempted and giving in to the temptation of doing exactly what it is we've been talking about in recent time.
I'm glad you brought up the matter with immigration. A lot of people try to blame the immigrant, the Haitian or whoever. They are not at fault. They are not at fault. It's us, the people. We use them because they're looking for advancement and a better life. We take advantage of them, charge them these astronomical fees, promise them we can get this done through the door and whatever else, and they're looking for a better life. So yes, they pay this $1,000, $2,000, but it's us, the people. Why don't we do serious investigation, determine and find out who are the culprits, who are the corrupt individuals, and deal with it appropriately? Why are we afraid?
Are you bold enough, Doc, to tackle justices of the peace and all the rest of that? Because it starts from there.
If I'm bold enough.
Are you? Did you tackle it when you sat in the big chair?
Let me give you one example what we tackled. We were informed that there was probably corrupt things happening at the embassy in Haiti with respect to visas. There were many visas being issued under the table and for illegal means.
Between Nassau and Haiti?
Between Nassau and Haiti. We subsequently shut down the visa department, and we had stopped Bahamas Air from going to Haiti at that time while we did our investigation. During that time, there were a lot of, and if you recall, there were a lot of vessels, Haitian vessels, that were caught on the high seas. You know why? Because they couldn't get visas, etc., and they came via these rinky boats and were subsequently caught and paid thousands and thousands of dollars. When that program was stopped, as soon as government changed, they subsequently opened and allowed visas to be obtained freely again. Bahamas Air started flying again. Now let's look at it today. Do you see any Haitian vessels coming in? The answer is no. They're all now coming via the airport. So we need to look at ourselves and deal with it appropriately. So all we've done was, while Minnis and those were investigating it, individuals were traveling via boats, all right, trying to evade the legal process. The other party came in, allowed the visas to be approved again, and suddenly there are no more boats on the high seas. Everybody are coming in by Bahamas Air. So proper investigation need to be done. But whoever's in government.
I agree.
And see, I think when individuals are out campaigning, the constituents need to ask them, are you prepared to deal with corruption? Are you prepared
Do you face these questions in Killarney? Because Killarney is the type of constituency where everybody looking for a free bag of grocery, they have questions more like this for the candidate or the member of parliament.
Killarney would ask those questions. Killarney, we have individuals of various different spectrum of life, of society, and they would point out things to me, that needs to be addressed, and I would address them as best I possibly can.
Why should Killarney vote for you, Doc? I mean, you've been out here. People have taken to heart your story and your experience because it's played out on the national stage. You were basically kicked to the curb by your party, which you say you still are F&M, but you have to do what you have to do. Why should they say, man, there's an F&M candidate, there's a PLP candidate, there's this one, the next one, but we're gonna go with Doc?
Killarney knows me. Killarney knows my track record. Killarney knows what I've done. Killarney knows that I am aware of all the issues and the problems they face. You always want, once you're in a situation, you want to get at it right away. Killarney knows that tomorrow I can start work right away. Any other individual, there can be delays, etc., etc. So Killarney knows me very well. They know what I'm confident.
If this election is very, very close and both parties, major parties, win an equal amount of seats, but you win Killarney, and you are the deciding factor, where would you go, Doc? Where would you lean?
That's a very, very interesting question. I'm going to answer that question very slowly so that the entire Bahamas can hear what I've said. As an independent candidate, I am the most mouthpiece and the representative of the people. The people put me there. And therefore, if there was a tie, I must go back to the people. Because they put me there, I must go back to them and ask them which side should I choose.
So you ain't gonna call us out tonight? You ain't gonna tell us?
As an independent candidate, I am the voice and the mouthpiece of the people. I am not bound by any political party, and I will do what the people say. If the people say go left, I will go left. If the people say go right, I will go right. But the people will definitely say you must continue to be our mouthpiece and speak on our behalf, and whichever party you go with, if they are doing wrong, whip them.
What are your plans, Doc? And as this is the final question as we wrap up, what are your plans between now and Tuesday when the polls open at 8? What do you have planned? You know, the parties have rallies and the rest of it, but Dr. Minnis is his own sort of entity. What are your plans?
We still have a lot of homes we would like to visit. We have a very good team. We must continue that process. We're putting a lot of strategies together. We want to know what we're going to do on Tuesday night after we're victorious. We're planning that also. And if there's a 2020, that question has been asked every time we go out campaigning. I don't know, people must see something that I don't see. But that's the number one question. And therefore, we sit down with regularity. What do you do should this happen? And we've all decided that the one thing we will do is go back to the people.
Go back to the people.
Go back to the people.
Dr. Hubert Minnis, going to be re-elected for the 6th time as a candidate, an independent one this time, in the constituency of Killarney. Thank you for stopping by, Dr. Minnis. Of course, I guess we won't speak with you officially before Tuesday. So,
but thank you very much.
May your efforts be blessed.
Thank you very much, and I accept your congratulations on my success.
That's it right there. That's what he said. Let's confident. Yeah. That is what Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis is. I could ask you a couple more questions, but you see they've been playing this break thing because I want to know what you think about the rally at the Carnival grounds. But no, that's okay. I won't do that. Doc, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, and I would rally myself from here to home.
Yes. You ain't going to the Carnival grounds?
I'm going home.
Beyond the Headlines is back right after this. Stay close.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel. And I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh. Luckily, it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. It's big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! Help! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes your presses you add and change them 24/7.
The F&M can't agree on anything except attacking everything started by the PLP. Now he's calling for a reset, but it's stop, review, and cancel again. New airports, school breakfast, upskill, the National Youth Guard, energy reforms. This crew would roll back progress. The FNM, not strong enough to lead us forward, but petty enough to drag us back.
My name is Charles Wesley Gould. My organic farm is Nice Layers Organic Farm. I have 230 birds up here. I give them fresh water, pumpkin, lettuce, cabbages, all the vegetables. Anything what I eat, they eat. Right now, we sell the eggs for $7 a dozen from Monday to Friday. On Saturdays, you can get 4 dozen eggs for $21. I'll be located on Jamaica Road, the western side, Silverstone Primary School.
We're expanding opportunities by investing in our people.
Opportunities like Upskill Bahamas.
We created our first national apprenticeship program.
We're promoting Bahamian ownership in tourism.
We're supporting Bahamian athletes.
Our first National Youth Guard.
We're building new roads and airports across the Family Island.
The world will keep changing, but so will we. And we're just getting started.
Go online to read our blueprint for progress.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. Tonight, the campaign trail pinned at the Old Carnival grounds. That is where the Free National Movement is hosting its SOS rally this evening. FNM supporters gathered in anticipation of hearing from the party's frontrunners and leaders, but many are keenly awaiting a special guest appearance by former party leader and Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham. Rebecca Bain is live at the Old Carnival grounds. Rebecca, good evening to you. What is the mood like there at the SOS rally?
Good evening, Shanika, all the way from the Old Carnival grounds where the Free National Movement is kicking off their Code Red mass rally here this evening. Earlier when we first came out here, I can tell you that it wasn't as packed as we've seen as the Free National Movement rallies before, but I'm going to ask my camera lady to pan, and she's going to show you how many individuals are out here this evening. We can see party supporters dressed up inside their party's paraphernalia. They're holding flags, they're holding pom-poms, holding signs, showing that they are coming out here to represent their constituency and showing their support behind the candidates. And speaking of the candidates tonight, some of those who will be speaking tonight is already on stage. Godville McDonald for the Nassau Village constituency. We're also going to hear from Heather McDonald for Ingliston, Orinthia Kumalafe for Carmichael, Michael Barnett Ellis for the Killarney constituency. We're also going to hear from Lincoln Deal for Freetown and Jay Philippe for Bain and Grantstown. And also speaking of candidates, I have here with me Ellsworth Johnson, who was a former member of parliament for the Yamacraw constituency, and now he is running once again to regain that seat. And Mr. Johnson, you are going to be facing the incumbent, Zane Lightburn for the Progressive Liberal Party. How does it feel for you to be running for the seat once again?
It feels great. First, allow me to commend you all in the media world on celebrating in 2026 on the 3rd. International Media Day. And I want to say to the world and to the Bahamas that it's not an offense to be in media. And thank you for the work that you've done. But I'm exceptionally proud to be able to present myself as a servant to the Bahamian people for servant leadership. And this time around, like the first time, I am, and as my leader has expressed, we are creating legacies. Legacy, not for us, but legacy in terms of the service that we provide to the youth, to our senior citizens, and the community of Yamacraw in general. We know we've done a strategic analysis of all the parks in the area, and they're totally dilapidated, underserved, and they're not fit for use. The infrastructure is not the best. And then the presence of the present MP has not been there. In terms of identifying a lot of the social issues that we now face. One is the catastrophic state of our healthcare system. My mother was there, and I'm saying to the entire country, I want to thank that doctor who reached out to me and said to take my mother there to go private because they did not have the supplies to treat her. The educational system, we've heard the president of the Teachers Union, Belinda Wilson, belabor the fact that we don't have teachers, we don't have the proper supplies. We've heard our nurses, our doctors, and our pharmacists speak to the fact that the national health insurance paradigm is not working. And so we haven't heard from the present MP, as we ought to on these issues, the on-bid contracts coming from his ministry is a difficulty. And then the travesty that occurred in the previous election process, and how that fell down, the removal of the boxes, and then persons in the committee who have a lot of fraudulent documents. We're concerned about immigration and what is really happening in immigration. And so I'm here to work. I'm here to work for the Bahamian people and to bring a sense of security and justification in that process.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Well, Shanique, you've heard it. The candidate for Yamacraw, Ellsworth Johnson, he has a few plans, him along with the FNM for the Bahamian people if elected as the next government. We do know that they are operating on the campaign of We Work For You, and that campaign, as he mentioned, entails bettering health care and education access for Bahamians, affordable housing, and accessible housing. And one of the things I'm not sure that he did not mention was the Free National Movement is also looking to bring about a national lottery. So some of those points will be touched on tonight here at tonight's rally, and I will bring you more updates as the night goes on, and they will be available via our social media platforms as well. But for right now, I'm Rebecca Bain, and I'm sending it back to you at the Dash Shanique.
Who is live at the Free National Movement's rally at the Old Carnival site there in the Queen Elizabeth Sports Center complex. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And I'm going to start right there this evening. I'm going to bring in the Hot Topics panelists. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Of course, these ones will turn quickly into the temperature check panelists. You all know that. But welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Peggy Candace, Gabrielle McKinsey-Aeneas, and Howard Johnson. Good evening.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas, and good evening, Dr. Minnis, who was here earlier at the top of the show.
I noticed you were quite on your best behavior. I was happy to see that. Howard, good evening to you.
Good evening, ladies, and good evening, Bahamas.
Listen, your thoughts on exactly what the FNM's SOS rally this evening, and the message that the FNM needs to send tonight to the base and to those on the fence, and obviously to its supporters.
The FNM has a tumultuous task ahead of them for tonight's rally. And when I say that, what I mean is they need to continue on the course of rallying all Bahamians to go out there and vote for them come 5 days from now we are at. So this time next week, we'll be doing a post-election analysis, Shanique. The results will be in, and either the FNM will have been successful in their journey or side will be their cry. Tonight, the FNM needs to present a solid message to the Bahamian public. Persons want to know more about this national lottery that is proposed. They want to know more on immigration policies and the direction that they're going in, as those are the top issues that everyone has been talking about. And they also want to know more about their plans to reduce the cost of living burdens on Bahamians, as well as, of course, addressing the housing crisis. These coupled with numerous issues that Bahamians are facing. Those are some of the things. And of course, people want the energy. They want them one-liners, those punch, because after all, a rally is what it is. To rally your supporters, get them together, get them excited. So people want to hear those one-liners. And of course, Papa in the house. So anytime Papa come, you could get that one-liner. One and done.
Good evening once again. Thank you so much for having me, Shanique. As a concerned Bahamian, I personally would like to know what it means, what it looks like to reset. The word reset has been injected into this conversation, this campaign, by the Free National Movement. I went personally and looked at the sign up close. And so what does reset mean? I Googled the word and it talks about stopping. It talks about starting from a certain point or point zero. And so I think it's important for Bahamians and every constituency to be concerned what reset would look like nationally and at a constituency level. And so hopefully we get some information on that and 1 or 2 extra plans. I mean, you can address concerns, but if you don't offer us a comprehensive plan, then what is it?
How would you want to jump in? I can move on.
Yes, Shanique. I think the FNM has used quite a few things in terms of messaging in the last several years. They started out with Unstoppable, we work for you and not the few, and now they're going with Code Red and SOS, which is Save Our Sovereignty. And I believe that at this critical juncture before the next general election, it sounds like a pretty good theme because, you know, the FNM is going to have to, if they're going to prevail at the polls next week, they're going to have to focus on those high-level, hot-button issues and topics that are of grave concern to the Bahamian people at this point. Gabby mentioned some, Ellsworth mentioned some. When we're talking about the economy and the cost of living, we're talking about healthcare, we're talking about crime and safety, we're talking about housing, we're talking about the state of education, and many other things that are foremost front and center in the minds of Bahamians. The FNM has to speak candidly to these things and also propose plans that they can implement from day one to bring relief and to be beneficial to the Bahamian people. And that's noteworthy, Shanique, because the PLP has 27 incumbents, I believe, that are running. Many of them are running because running again, the PLP party believes that they have done their work, that they are visible on the ground, and they are delivering. And so in order to win, the FNM can't compete. They don't have the resources of government. They don't hold the purse strings of the government. And so in order for them to compete, they have to focus attention on these hot topic issues that are of grave concern to the Bahamian people.
Well, I'll tell you, one of those incumbents, Howard, that you referred to a moment ago from the governing side is Clay Sweeting in South Eleuthera. There was a rally in Eleuthera last evening. We take a look at that. And also Sinance, who's out front. It's Temperature Check right after the break.
In the red lights below, nurses breathe grace, but the pain won't go. Head is the weight on the sick tonight. Too many souls in a losing fight. Broken jaw waiting, no surgeon in sight. Child in the hallway crying all night. Girl in emergency gasping for breath. No tools in the ward fighting death. Running those halls with fire in her chest. Searching for the steel they failed to invest. Back to her office to rage and through night, just to find something to save that life. Rise up now, rise up now, rise up now. Dr. MacIver, rise up now. Midnight one and the red lights glow. Yeah.
5 cars, catch the keys, don't blink, take these.
Island Luck is giving away 5 brand new cars. Earn 10 reward points for a chance to enter and win. Enter weekly from Monday 12 a.m. to Sunday 2 p.m. Winners are announced Sundays at 3 p.m. on 103.5 The Beat and Island Luck Socials. 5 cars, 5 weeks. The more you play, the better your chances. Visit islandluck.com for more information. Catch the keys only at Island Luck. Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
The F&M can't agree on anything except attacking everything started by the PLP. Now he's calling for a reset, but it's stop, review, and cancel again. New airports, school breakfast, upskill, the National Youth Guard, energy reforms. This crew would roll back progress. The FNM, not strong enough to lead us forward, but petty enough to drag us back.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
We're expanding opportunities by investing in our people.
Opportunities like Upskill Bahamas.
We created our first national apprenticeship program.
We're promoting Bahamian ownership in tourism.
We're supporting Bahamian athletes.
Our first National Youth Guard.
We're building new roads and airports across the Family Island.
The world will keep changing, but so will we. And we're just getting started.
Go online to read our blueprint for progress.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. The nation's leader making a plea not to just those on his party's camp, but to residents all across the Bahamas, and in particular last night on the island of Eleuthera. Jose Etienne was at that rally in Central and South Eleuthera last evening. Here's a bit of what he saw.
The Longley Newberry Park in central Eleuthera swarmed with dozens of Progressive Liberal Party supporters from both ends of the island. It's the latest island to be visited by party leader, Prime Minister Philip Davis, and team members as they carry the PLP campaign message directly to the people days before the general election. As for Eleutherans, Davis is making a plea for partisan politics to not get in the way of a re-election.
You can still be an FNM or an independent or whatever. But this time, your vote for progress means that the country will be able to move forward. The progress we are offering to the country is not based on party colors.
Davis insists that his plea shouldn't fall on futile ground, as he highlighted key objectives that he says were checked off his administration's to-do list for the island.
We expanded BTVI by opening the first Family Island campus on Inner Family Island, right here in Southern Central Eleuthera. You now have even greater access to technical training and skills training.
Still, water and electricity woes have remained a contentious issue for residents, one that persisted during successive administrations. And while residents have seen officials playing the blame game with previous administrations and contracted water operators on the issue, Central and South's incumbent Member of Parliament, Clay Sweeting, says government was more focused on providing solutions.
There was a PLP government that put $3 million of water infrastructure, and for the first time, Bannerman Town and John Minnis will be able to turn the tap on and have potable water from anywhere on the island.
Now, there's also a surge in tourism activity happening in Eleuthera. Employment is also up thanks to ongoing roadworks and more developments such as Jack's Bay and the Ritz-Carlton Hotel that are being erected from the ground up. Sweeting asserts that those are government's successes.
Eleuthera has become the shining gem of the Bahamas.
His work not going unnoticed. Senior members of the Davis administration gave Clay his flowers.
Thank you so much. That was Jose Etienne reporting from Eleuthera last evening at that rally. I want to bring the panel in very, very quickly for just reaction on the Clay Sweeting, his footprints this term in Central and South Eleuthera as he seeks re-election.
Hey, Shanique, I was there. I was on the ground in Savannah Sound last night, and it was electrifying. I mean, Eleutherans are so excited and so pleased with Clay just results Sweeting. And one thing I must mention is the young people, the young Eleutherans, and the motorcade went on and on and on. Even while speakers were speaking, people were still coming in. And so Clay should be very encouraged tonight because it is obvious that South Central Eleuthera wants Clay.
Clay has done quite a bit of work. One of the things, firstly, I would love to commend him on is staying on the message of what he's actually done and the progress that he's actually brought to the island. Because it seemed in recent times that the PLP has been drifting away from that message, focusing in a lot on what the opposition is doing or hasn't done. So I was very elated to see that Clay was able at that rally to actually bring to Eleutherans what he's done and what he plans to do should they re-elect him. I, however, still don't feel like he's out of the woodwork yet, as hometown girl Philippa Kelly is closing in on his heels. So I still to this day is saying that Eleuthera, South Eleuthera, is too close to call.
Shanique, this rally was pretty interesting. I saw a lot of people I know. I'm from Governor's Harbor, but Savannah Sound is part of my ancestral home. My mom is related to the Culmers of Savannah Sound, and my dad is related to the Gibsons. So I saw a lot of people I know. But as far as Clay is concerned, I think Clay Sweeting embodies what I said many times on this show, that PLP incumbents have to do to win. They have to be visible and they have to deliver tangible results. And Clay, I believe, has done that over the course of the nearly 5 years that he has been the representative. And having that Minister of Works portfolio has definitely helped tremendously. Now, Shanique, if I were Clay Sweeting and I were trying to be an astute politician, here's what I'd be whispering in Mr. Davis's ear. If the PLP were going to, the PLP is going to win the next general election, keep me as Minister of Works, but please reroute energy, including utilities, into my portfolio and remove government. Because Eleuthera continues to have woes with electricity and water, as Jose reported. That is going to be a serious problem. That is a serious problem, and it's going to continue to be a serious problem. You can only run from that for so long. And if I would Clay, I would want to have that under my portfolio so I could take care of that myself. I want my finger on that portfolio to bring further relief to my people in those areas.
Howard, think about, yeah, Eleuthera has been beat very badly with this whole utility upgrade and modernization issue. We all know that. But Howard, that's a heavy lift for anybody to have works and utilities, Howard. Think about that. Think about it. Meanwhile, you all all have said it. By the way, so hold on. Let's call South Eleuthera and let's move on. So Central and South, Gabrielle says too close to call. Howard and Peggy.
Clay Sweeting.
Howard says Clay Sweeting, PLP. Okay, quickly now.
PLP,
you
right
all.
now, PLP.
Yes, yeah. So let's go quickly to St. Anne's. Now you all know we've done roughly, let's say perhaps 30-ish. Constituencies already, and I know we won't, so we'll speed through a lot of them and revisit some of those very battleground seats. So we'll do that. But tonight, let's look quickly at St. Anne's. The candidates are from left to right on your screen. the incumbent Free National Movement's candidate, Adrian White. In the middle, the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate, Keno Wong. At the right of your screen, the Coalition of Independents candidate, Graham Rutherford. And so, Peggy Gabrielle Howard, let us start with the Coalition of Independents candidate, Graham Rutherford, in the St. Anne's constituency. What do we know about Graham? How is he showing up in St. Anne's? What kind of impression is he making?
Graham is the most annoying person involved in politics for many years, but even more so. I don't think he's campaigning as much as he's speaking like every COI candidate to issues that has little to do with their constituency they're running in, and I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon.
Graham Rutherford, the Coalition of Independents candidate, we know him for a very long time. I think everyone in the Bahamas at this point is familiar with that name. He is activism activated, is how I would describe him. Activism activated. Primarily his issues of focus are always Crown land grants, giving Bahamians more access to land and natural resources. If you know anything about him, those are his top issues that he fights for on a national level. When it comes down to St. Anne's and the constituency, there's a lot that is left, I guess. There's a lot left open there, because his thing is always what we can do nationally. But in order to be national, you have to first get elected. And in St. Anne's, that is going to be the toughest thing for Graham Rutherford to do.
Yeah, Graham is no stranger. I mean, he's a social activist, political activist, environmental activist, natural resources activist. He's done radio, he's done TV, he's done social media. Graham has showed up everywhere, speaking out. A lot of the things that comes out of Graham's mouth, people would say are grandiose. You know, they're pie in the sky, can't be accomplished. But one thing I admire about Graham, he focuses on what he believes in. And, you know, I kind of look at him in that kind of out there Elon Musk type of way, where he has big ideas and big dreams that, you know, most other people can't really comprehend. As far as him being on the ground in St. Anne's and campaigning, I haven't seen very much. I know he's out there. I've seen one or two things. He is going live sometimes and talking about a lot of the big themed ideas and issues that the COI supports. I don't see much else from Graham.
Let's move on now to the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate, Keno Wong. Well, how is Keno Wong showing up? Is his message resonating? And what are people saying about him in St. Anne's?
So what I found out from Keno Wong's Facebook page, he is making radio show rounds. His team is growing. They're excited. I understand that he's been invited and welcomed in many homes, having private conversations with residents. You know, St. Anne's seems to have a reputation for being the F&M stronghold. I think he is challenging that. I think he is making grounds, and his presence is being felt on the ground in St. Anne's.
Keno Wong is indeed a very charismatic man, one of the Progressive Liberals Party's more charisma candidates with a little bit more charisma every time. As I was able, St. Anne's is a huge constituency for those of you that don't know. It extends all around from West Bay, comes straight around Yamacraw up to Treasure. That entire eastern corridor is known as St. Anne's. So that is a huge task for any candidate.
Fox Hill too.
Fox Hill, all of that. And they just added Blair, FYI. They just added Little Blair to that now. So now the entirety of Blair is now in St. Anne's, along with Little Blair. So Keno now has to introduce himself to those persons as well while continuing to make his round. But he's been getting good feedback, good reviews. People like him as a person. He's been advocating for a lot of things in terms of parks, stuff like that. He's been putting the working on the ground, and he's being well received by the residents of St. Anne's.
Yeah, when you look at a constituency like a St. Anne's that's considered a stronghold for a particular party, when you have a candidate like Keno, like Gabby said, he's very interesting. He's very charismatic. He's hit the ground running. He's got out there a little bit late with Adrian White as an incumbent MP in a stronghold, a place that Brent Simmons had held several times. Hubert Chipman held one time for the FNM. So this is a big time FNM seat per se. And so Keno Wong has his work cut out for him. He's not laying down and playing dead. The young man is out there working. He has his people behind him. He is showing up. He's going to churches. He's doing stuff in the community. He's canvassing and he's campaigning. So I think he's making some noise.
Okay, so listen, you all. Let's look at the incumbent. The Free National Movement's candidate, Adrian White. What is Adrian doing now to be able to convince Sinance that they must go with him for another 5 years?
Over the term, 4.5 years, Adrian White has been an activist for garbage renewal, talking about road repairs, utilities for Sinance. But I think this term, Adrian White will be most remembered for, if not wiping his feet on the PLP sign, but for that little flag he held on to for Is Their Life, and now I think he owns the flag. He's doing plenty dancing, so he's a TikTok favorite for the dancing.
Name of the game is show no shit. Listen, I want cue. Y'all cue Adrian White.
Adrian
in the background, please. I forget my behavior.
He was carrying on with that, yeah.
Because Adrian White is the #1 patriotic. If we had to rank the most patriotic MPs of them all, it would be Adrian White. Adrian White is going to run away with Sinance. He's going to run with it. There's no doubt why it is a strong FNM stronghold, and that is not going to change. I predict that Adrian White is going to win Sinance by over 1,000.
You predicting this already? Talk about what has he done, because go ahead, Howard.
Adrian has been putting in the
Gabrielle,
work.
1 second, because I already say we're leaning. Howard, quickly, you have less than 60 seconds.
Ooh, okay, Shanique, Adrian White is on the ground. He's campaigning. He has the steel laws out there working, cleaning up the community. He's doing what he has to do. He's campaigning. He's going door to door. Adrian is a soldier. He was out there bouncing and dancing on stage the other night, looking like a soldier.
I saw it.
And he had the Gregory Isaacs bop up there on stage the other night. But Shanique, let me tell you why I believe Adrian is going to prevail. Adrian is the consummate soldier. You remember when Shannon Dawn threw the mace out the window? Adrian Gibson stood in the gap. He ain't picking no fight, but he ain't ducking no blow. Let me tell you, Adrian got grabbed and thrown out of the House of Assembly. Them fellas ripped Adrian.
He at the top of my show every night.
Like Clark Kent used to rip open his clothes and fly away as Superman. These fellas do Adrian so bad. They fling Adrian from the House of Assembly door by bringing back, and Adrian Gibson came back to fight another day. He wasn't scared. They put him in the figure Nelson, the DDT, they body slam Adrian Gibson, and Adrian Gibson.
Howard, quickly. Howard, that was not 60 seconds. So in one, where's Sinance leaning right now? Go, Howard, quick. Okay, Gabrielle?
FNM by over 1,000 votes.
Peggy.
Not by 1,000.
Peggy.
Over 1,000.
It's leading FNM, but he's asking. Yeah,
right there.
I believe it.
Adrian, I need my baby flag.
I thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. Of course, thank you to Dr. Minnis, who was here this evening at the top of tonight's show. Dr. Minnis, thank you, Dr. Minnis, of course, the independent candidate for Killarney, stopping by this evening. And of course, these big, loud, Peggy, Gabrielle, Howard. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
Good night.